Guys, I can barely stand up. I've had no sleep. And don't forget to keep watching to find out why. This thing's gonna pop off further than my shoulder out of my shoulder girdle as I attempt to learn the intricacies of my own anatomy. Guys, last night I came up with a really dumb idea. It's an ambitious challenge, which I'm calling the Proko Anatomy in 30 Days Challenge. The challenge is going to be learning through the entirety of Proko's anatomy series in 30 days. For context, Stan Proko is an artist and educator. He has an extensive anatomy series that shows the inner workings of the musculature and the skeleton. This is a perfect solution to part of my problem. Part of my problem is that I'm mid and I'm old. And so I've adopted for myself a challenge which I'm not even sure is humanly possible or artistically helpful. But I think it's fun, and it's important to challenge oneself from time to time. Basically, I feel like my art has been stagnating for the past year and a half, and the reason it's stagnating is because I'm lazy and I have not worked on it. And so at the very least, if this challenge is a complete and miserable failure, I will have learned some discipline. If I'm gonna be an epic art YouTuber, I've gotta be disciplined. You see, my friends, my art used to look like this, and now it looks like this. But the thing is, the time that it took to get from point A to point B was 10 years. But in reality, it was 4 months of work. But the rest of it, I spent playing Minecraft, or getting a philosophy degree. Completely useless ventures. What was I thinking? Why do I know so much about Walter Benjamin's conception of Marxist materialism in the light of Jewish Kabbalah research, and how it pertains to his groundbreaking study of the Paris arcades in the late 1800s? What have I done? And so, my friends, every day on this channel, I'm going to be uploading a video, and the video will be a recap of me trying to cram in a week's worth of Proko content in a day. As I say, this is a dubious idea. I'm not sure I entirely recommend what I'm doing, but I'm doing this because my life is falling apart, and only one thing can fix it: flashy, dumb drawing challenges. Instead of talking about what I'm going to do each video, I'm just going to finish this extended intro and tell you what I did today. So yeah, the joints, I spent roughly an hour consuming the lesson of the day. Here I am in my basement room, like a prisoner looking out at the pre-dawn sky. Which was all about the 6 types of joints. And then I spent 2 hours simplifying all of these forms in the skeleton to their simple joints. But that wasn't enough, because I want to make it a challenge. I don't want to just do the assignments that Proko says. So I went to 3D models, and I tried to get as close to the bone as I could to try to incorporate these ideas of the hinges and the balls and the sockets and the different ways of moving into something as close to reality as I could. Because I believe there's tremendous value in simplifying forms like Proko does, but I'm also too much of a Renaissance simp to settle for anything less than kind of paying attention to the inherent poetry of the human form. And speaking of poetry of the human form, I also looked at some old master drawings again and tried to check out how are these guys thinking about joints. How are they simplifying them? How are they paying attention to the forms? And what were they doing? I found the simplifying okay, not very exciting. I've done simplifying before. And so I'm not going to ramble on too long about my joints day, because this video is probably already long enough. But the best part about this series is that it begins again tomorrow. So please, subscribe and come enable my haggard journey through a desperate and unhinged art challenge. We're gonna be tackling the spine tomorrow, and you better have the spine to show up. Okay friends, until then,